I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are we on the air, sugar?
Mike Minarski and Rich Wasilick in the morning at 80s all day and night.
Behold the secrets of nature's deepest mystery.
Rich is a little bit country and Mike is a little bit rocket. No, Mike's polka. He's a little bit polka.
SNSN, your community radio.
Live from Main Street. Mike Minarski and Rich Wasilick in the morning at 80s all day and night.
SNSN.
Why are you here again?
I'm Rich Waslick in disguise.
Rich is on assignment.
Again.
Rich is on the cutting board today.
Well, Rich is a pretty busy guy, too. He's involved in a lot of stuff.
Not only that, but he's got some things going on. He's having surgery. And we wish him the best, obviously, because he's got a lot going on. But I guess they moved it up a day. So not that he was going to be here today anyway, but so we worry about Rich.
Yep. So you reached the bottom of the barrel and brought me in, huh?
No, dude, you just showed up.
I'm the bottom of the barrel.
No, I'm grateful that you gentlemen are even available at all to walk in this building. So.
Well, I wasn't supposed to be, but.
Whoa, did you have things to do this morning and you just kind of popped in, or?
No, I had an appointment scheduled. That got canceled too.
Oh, gotcha. So, as far as like you guys and Victoria was in the room, I mean, she comes in and plays with us here at Radio Day, and Kathy Wasilick, and who am I forgetting Rich, obviously, but Rich is
the healthy computer.
He doesn't come in. Daryl doesn't, but he participates a lot.
He doesn't come in the station.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's
when you said come in, I thought
though.
you were talking about coming in on video.
Oh no. He's just nuts.
See how difficult it is to communicate with the English language.
And it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
Double duty.
Double duty.
Well, was it like 10 o'clock last night? Oh yeah. Can you come in tomorrow?
Yeah, it was probably 10 o'clock.
Yeah. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like with Jim, how many times have we said, have you seen Jim?
I know.
Where's Jim?
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't heard from him.
I know.
Nothing like that. You get a random email once in a while, but then you just don't hear from him.
I know.
And he's showed up twice in a week.
That's good. Yeah.
So,
and both times the door was locked.
Well, there you go.
So I mean, when you get the feeling you're unwelcome, why keep knocking on the door?
Oh no, I really thought I had left because I always leave it unlocked.
Yeah. I thought it was unlocked.
Yeah.
But sometimes you twist the handle and it locks itself. Yeah.
So a lot of football this weekend. We have Griswold versus Weaver High School. That will be tomorrow night. We'll be there live at Weaver High School in Hartford. And then Sunday we have youth football, which is Griswold and Ledyard.
Gotcha.
So we have three games.
Wow.
On Sunday for that. So a lot of football this weekend right here on SNSN. So in the meantime, just when you think there's nothing going on in town, there's always something going on in town. And you kind of wonder, does it happen in other towns to the same degree or to the nth degree or what? Or not at all.
No.
But there just seems to be in our little hometown now that a little bit of uneasiness and maybe a little bit of a shakeup, going on, downtown. Don't know why.
No.
There's nothing circulating as to anything.
Right.
Is that good, bad, or indifferent, Paul?
Right now, I think it's bad.
Okay. Why is it bad?
Because I think we're at a standstill where we need to go forward.
as far as you're talking about a town is concerned.
Yeah,
or
because
just-
there were a lot of fires. There were a lot of irons in the fire that were moving along, and now we don't know where they are. Whether they're out of the fire or just still in the fire and they're getting melted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. What about you, Jim? I mean, do you think this town right now is well? As far as what's going on downtown, and how do I want to describe it? It's just little bit of an upheaval.
Yeah, it's kind of a shock.
It's a little bit of a shock.
A little bit of a shock.
Is this something that I mean, do you think the town is in a good stride right now? Bad stride? Do we need to change things? Do we need to change things fast?
Well, I mean that's a question that's as broad as the world. I mean, I think overall the town is probably not in a bad position,
okay. But
there's certain aspects of it that are in turmoil at the moment.
Okay, Victoria just asks, and it's just very, very blunt, and I'll read it. She goes, "Are you speaking to the town planner being MIA?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, we don't know what's going on with the town planner.
No, we don't.
All we know is that he's on paid administrative leave.
Right. Yeah. And what we're concerned about is some of the things that he was handling as far as what's going to happen in the future. Some of the stuff that referendums approved and, where they were, things were getting started.
Yep.
And we don't know how they're being handled now because.
But did we know how they were being handled before
Well,
that?
we knew that they were moving along.
Okay.
We don't know if his absence is causing anything to slow down or if something, continuing on. I know there was the grant thing that was, that was going on, but he was part of that. Now, whether that continues without him or gets, work has to be done over again, I don't know. Those are things that we don't know, which I think somebody should come forward and at least tell us what's going on in the town due to the absentee of the, come back and tell us, no, things are going well. We're okay. We got it under control. Come out and tell us. Don't leave us in the dark. And that's unfortunately, that's what's happening.
Got it. Jim, do you want to add to that or?
Well, basically Mario is the town planner. Okay. But he wears an awful lot of other hats. Some of which I believe he was doing without pay. I don't know that for an absolute fact, but I believe that. And so that, well, I mean, he shows up economic development meetings, okay, P&Z,
yep.
Wetlands, and I think there's a couple of other things that he shows up for. Okay, probably ZBA, and so we have no one sitting in that slot at the moment. We had an economic development meeting last night. I got Tom wasn't going to be there, but I got some updates from Tom on what was happening. But I just don't see how we're moving forward at this particular moment. P&Z, I don't think they're holding meetings at this point.
I heard that they were all canceled right now.
Yeah, because they don't have the staff person, which is basically Mario.
And who knows those regulations better than him?
Yeah,
I mean, he's right on them. I mean, he knows all of them. He knows all, because he's done it for years.
Well, sure, but is that the reason to keep somebody? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Is that the reason to keep somebody in a position? So we don't know what's going on. I've tried to pull things, out of people at town hall. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say nobody, I mean nobody is talking at all. I mean, they'll say,
well,
don't know.
It just goes to show you.
It's not like I talk to everybody. I mean, I talk to.
But it just goes to show you, just like in any other business, you have one person that does all this stuff, but you don't have a backup. And the town does not have a backup who knows the zoning regulations and a lot of their town regulations when it comes to building stuff other than him. There's nobody here to back up.
I think that's true of probably most small towns.
Even businesses,
you can't afford it.
even businesses is the same way. They always have one person, that's been around doing the job for years. Then the person retires, and they never take the time to train the next person coming in before the other person leaves.
Well, we don't know if there's a situation.
No, we don't
or
know
not.
that. No.
So here's the thing, though. I mean, there's a union involved.
Yep.
So we don't. I mean, as far as, let's say, and I'm just again playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Let's say something happened that was really bad.
Yeah.
That we don't know about.
Yeah.
And this is why. Now, I'm not saying Mario did anything bad.
Yeah.
Not
No, I
at
know
all.
that.
Okay. Well, I want to make that clear because, what'll happen is people say, Minarski said that Mario did something really bad. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So don't twist my stuff.
You almost screwed up just then.
Probably. I screw up daily.
Oh, you almost let go with an F-bomb.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty good at pulling those back.
Yeah,
but,
you did at the last instance.
But like with the union and stuff, I'm assuming unless he was or anybody is voluntarily leaving their position, you can't just kind of bring a replacement in.
No.
So maybe this is why we don't have a replacement. Maybe there has to be some sort of process because they're dealing with a situation. Maybe it's a personnel situation that we don't. Yeah. There have been other personnel situations downtown that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I FOI'd some stuff that, and I even remember when Todd Babbitt was first selectman. It took me about 2 weeks to get it, and this was about a couple of ladies that were working at town hall. And I finally got the information because the town attorney said, "Yeah, you got to send it because it's FOIable."
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it and went, "Oh,
well,
it wasn't anything at all with what was circulating."
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you know what I did with that? All those pages and reports,
you just threw them away.
Well, it was on. I just deleted it.
Yeah,
I did, and I even told the people involved. I told Todd too. I said, "That's not anything I want to get involved in." So,
yeah,
that's not who we are.
Well, this is part of the problem with social media, okay? And that is that all kinds of crap comes out there that is so far wrong. It's not even in the same continent.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what the process is. Something in 2 weeks will be going, oh,
eventually we will know. It'll come out eventually when things are decided and what's going to be handled, what's been done. Mario will have his turn to talk. I'm sure the town will have its turn to talk, and eventually it'll all come out. But right now, it's just being.
Well, let's talk about the process a little bit. So, like 35 years ago, 40 years ago, right in the 80s, if this was going on now, nobody would really be saying a whole lot. And if they did, the word wouldn't travel as fast as it does now. I'm speaking to your social media point.
Correct.
So, like like back then, it was like, all right, well, maybe we'll read it in the paper. Maybe somebody will report it, and there's that. Now it's not even about the newspaper anymore. Yeah. It's about who's posting what on social media somewhere. And Jennifer Gauthier just put perception is different than reality, which is very, very true.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I feel, is that there are many people that take social media as reality instead of perception.
What gave you that idea? Look at the country. Look at the country. Come on.
Look, I'm call me Captain Obvious, but what do I know? But come on, does that make sense or does it not?
It does make sense. It does make sense. Yeah. I wonder how. I mean, the news is out there. Any of the people that were contacting the town as far as doing business with the town. I mean, you got the projects going on 164, the data centers, they're used to dealing with the planner. And now they're up in arms and saying, what the hell is going on? Yeah. Think about those people down there that are getting their grants that they want to get to do that. But, okay, yeah, we're going to get it done, but how long is this going to take? Are we being held up because of this whole situation that's going on in town?
Well,
I mean, it's him leaving or staying is not going to impact the infrastructure on 164. It's going to happen. It may be delayed, but it's going to happen no matter if he's there or if somebody else comes in and replaces him. It just means that there's a delay. And those people that are going after money, they need that infrastructure, and that's what they're using to get the grants. If there's going to be a 6-month more delay, I mean, how is that going to impact them?
It could impact them significantly.
Exactly. So there's other things that they need to consider. We need to consider that, what the hell's going to happen here? Hopefully it gets resolved. It gets resolved fairly quickly, one way or the other.
So, all right. So let's play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, and I would like to get both your opinions. Let's say this is strictly hypothetical.
Sure.
Hypothetical. That you are first selectman right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim, in your world right now, in this situation, you are first selectman.
Never.
No, I get it. But this is
you couldn't pay me enough.
No, I've had people say, "Why don't you run, Mike?" And I'm like, oh no, I don't want any part of that at any time ever. So I am on board with you 100%, Jim. But let's say there is some sort of personnel issue with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to sit back and say, I have to act because of the type of situation that it is. So you do.
Yeah.
And you start getting a bunch of hate mail, phone calls, wondering what the hell.
Mm-hmm.
But because you can't talk about it,
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
So what do you do, Mr. Lash, Mr. First Selectman, in that case, in that situation? And the other thing is the problem big enough that you have to remove somebody that knows all about the plans or all about the, what they're trying to build? Is it so big that it's worth removing that person or people at that moment, knowing that everything's going to be a stalwart?
Well, whatever it is, it had to be something with a zero tolerance policy. Zero tolerance.
Okay. And we don't know what that is.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't know. I don't know the policies within the town. What would be considered to be a zero tolerance policy?
Okay.
I mean, having an argument with somebody it's not a zero tolerance policy as
Okay.
far as I'm concerned.
You mean a disagreement?
Even a disagreement.
Sure. I mean, that happens.
I mean, we all know in order to get rid of somebody as a management person, you need to document a lot of the stuff before you could go to HR and have the person removed. Now, I'm not saying that's everything, but if you have a zero tolerance policy, that's different. Immediate, that means gone. And, we know that there's a lot of places have zero tolerance policies.
Okay.
Now, I don't know.
So
I don't know the policies in town because, I'm not.
So you're
I
saying
don't-
this would have to be a zero tolerance policy?
I would think so in order to get
Okay.
rid of them, because otherwise you get a slap on the hand and you get written up.
Yep.
I mean,
Jim?
I don't know what you think, Jim.
What about
I want to address a comment that Paul made, and that is an HR person. Okay.
do we even have
I
an
have-
HR person?
No, I have argued in front of the finance board for years about getting an HR person, because this town, along with probably many other towns, continually gets themselves in trouble because we don't have a real HR person that's handling these kinds of sticky issues, and that maybe can take and head off some of the situations that we find ourselves in, which ultimately end up with the town paying huge
Punitive damages.
punitive damages. Yeah. Okay.
Which is not uncommon
So-
because it happened before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even since I've been down here, there's been at least 3 or 4 or 5 settlements that I
Are you talking about when Hatfield was first
was
selectman?
one.
That was just one. Okay. But there's
Gotcha.
so in that regard, that's the comment I wanted to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
We're penny wise and dollar foolish. Okay.
okay.
I mean, I'm on the ordinance committee along with 3-4 other people. All right. And we end up drafting much of the ordinance ourselves because we can't get some assistance to take and do that. Okay. We're volunteers. We don't get paid for any of this crap. I mean, you know, we can spend millions of dollars here, there, and every place else. But when you want $10 to take and have a part-time person to take your notes, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you want to comment on that?
No, I agree. I mean, it could be that because we don't have an HR person, maybe something was done that maybe.
How about the town's attorney?
He's not an HR person.
No, but I'm assuming
He can assume anything he wants when it comes to.
No, I know, but I'm saying if
regulations
this was
and
a policy issue,
Yeah.
so you're hoping that the town attorney would be adversed in whatever, because the town's attorney actually represents multiple towns, do they not?
They can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, I think we have 2 or 3 different attorneys in town, depending on what the issue is that they may be.
But I mean,
called
the
upon.
actual town attorney that is under retainer, you would think that they would have, a general understanding or something, or at least the materials available that they could go ahead and research before a decision like this was made to remove somebody that is part of the union. I mean, I keep saying union, but there is a certain level of protection when you
again, we don't know.
are part of a union.
We don't know what the issue was. Was it something that just happened and instantaneously the person was removed? Or
don't
was
know.
it something that was over time and then removed? But again, if you're going to remove something like that, you have to give them warnings. You know what I'm saying? You just can't.
Well, I
If
would
you've got
think-
an issue, you give them a verbal warning first.
Verbal, written, final.
You got it.
Yeah.
And did any of that happened? We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Are we supposed to know?
No, we don't know. We shouldn't know.
No.
That's all
It's a
private.
personnel issue. So
Right.
And that's why I'm not sure if the town attorney is up on personnel.
Okay.
They're different. Just then why doesn't every company have a lawyer and get rid of the HR person? Every company has an HR person for a reason, because that's the specific thing they're responsible for, and they upkeep and they know what's going on when it comes to personnel issues. Lawyers are different.
I mean, in my advocating for an HR person over numerous years, my suggestion has been look for someone who was an HR professional in the industry or in government, doesn't matter, and it's retired but would like to keep active a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. The other, so you put a person like that on retainer, possibly even. I mean, there's numerous personnel issues that come up all over the place all the time. I mean,
Sure.
You can even.
I was very lucky in the operation I had at Raytheon because I had a small cohesive unit and we all communicated. I mean, I had 20, 30 union employees working for me along with a few foremen. And in the 12 or 15 years I was facilities engineering manager, I had one grievance. Didn't even come from within my own plant. It came from outside people on overtime because I found them sleeping on a Saturday in the boiler room.
Subcontractor?
No.
Huh?
Raytheon employees from another division.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Because you can always have your own employees during the week, but in order to distribute the overtime a little bit more fairly, you could have you bring in one of your employees, but you had to take in somebody from another division.
Yeah. And I would think that HR issues dealing with union are probably a little bit more difficult than a regular person who's a non-union person.
Well, that's what I said. I think there's
Yeah.
a certain level of protection.
Yeah.
I don't know how much because I've never been part of a union.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure there's some sort of level there. Victoria also goes on to say that I'm sure that the town attorney would advise the town to not answer questions, and I think that's just obvious.
That's obvious. Yeah.
And that's just smart, I guess. Don't say anything, kind of thing.
Yeah. But I think the town itself should probably keep quiet or what happens. But I think the town should be coming out and telling us, look, don't worry. We got it under control. We're still moving forward. You know, we got a bump in the road. Come out and say something.
Mhm.
But as usual, within this town, they don't say a damn word. And I've said this always. You don't say nothing, you're hiding something.
Perhaps.
That's the way I look at it.
But maybe this is a situation that
I didn't say they have to say what went on.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like you say something, I'm going to go the reverse. I want to see, you know what I mean?
What I'm saying is come out and say, look, town, don't be nervous. We're okay. We're moving forward. Things are going well on 164. We're not slowing down. We're fine. Don't be nervous.
See, I think
more information to follow.
I think a lot of the focus, and see if you guys will comment on this, is on the personnel issue that is happening right now down at Town Hall, and how that personnel issue affects certain plans going forward.
Yeah.
Should we be focused on that, or should we just be focused on the plans going forward and what we're going to do to continue moving forward?
Well, you're right. I think it's the level of what the employee is. If it was just a common clerk person,
or is it just curiosity killed the cat?
If it was a common clerk person who really didn't have any impact except on day-to-day operations, you wouldn't feel it. You know, you'd say, "Oh yeah, they're concerned we have an issue." But when you have somebody in a position who's really runs a lot of the stuff that's going on, it concerns us because we're saying, "Okay, what the hell's going on here?" You know. I mean, and a lot of the surrounding people are having issues. They look like some of the committees can't meet because they're dependent on this person.
No, this project's ongoing. As Economic Development Commission, we rely on the planet that they can give us the not daily, but weekly updates from the people that are trying to get things done in this particular town. Okay,
yeah.
We don't have that now. No. So I mean, you know. There's developers out there that are going to be coming to economic development, to P&Z and other boards in town that are going to be looking for recommendations. Do we support this or do we not support this? Okay. We got no inputs.
Nothing.
So how are we supposed to function? I mean, basically there was much discussion whether to cancel the EDC meeting last night, Economic Development
Actually,
Commission.
I thought it was.
In fact, if I hadn't made a couple of phone calls,
I wouldn't have showed up.
Paul wouldn't have showed up, but I don't know whether Charlotte would have showed up either.
No, because we had no communication whether it was on or off. So I just assumed, as with P&Z, canceled, and we never got an agenda. It was canceled.
Well, see, there's the assumption of assuming.
Yeah, I know, but
there was no cancellation notice posted. So
yeah.
At that point, I have to assume that we're moving forward.
Yeah. So.
Now let's go back 40 years ago, and everything that we've said now.
Yeah.
Is this all been affected by social media? All of our hunger to know what's going on? Because 40 years ago, would you be saying the same things? I'm going to put out there and say probably not.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
you know,
I
so
think you're right.
It's that hunger to know everything now.
Yeah.
It's the instantaneous gratification.
Yeah.
Okay, and that maybe is a stretch for this particular thing, but this is a nation that's deep into instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Not worried about tomorrow. What can I get today?
Yeah.
Give me my ice cream cone. Give me my candy bar.
Ooh,
give me my new car.
Yeah. Very, very true.
That's true.
So there've been numerous points that have been brought up really just in this conversation and folks, in Victoria. Jennifer, I think, put I'm going to go back to her comment that she put, and perception is different than reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's personally, that's a big mistake on a lot of people's parts, including myself. I do it myself sometimes, or a lot. You read something that you perceive to be true, and it's not anywhere close to being the truth.
Yeah.
This is why I stay the hell out of Grizzled now, because there's so much, unless somebody says, hey, I found a bobcat on so-and-so lane. Well, then I'm thinking, all right, well, that's kind of cool, or, whatever.
There is a bobcat on Oak Street.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But going back to Jennifer's comment, perception is different from reality. I mean, I don't care I don't care who you're talking about. If somebody is suspended from work, that's a very negative connotation that's put upon that person, and it may not be fair.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because none of us understand what's going on.
No. I'm not assuming anything of what the individual did. I'm just kind of disappointed that it happened and we don't know what's going on as far as moving forward because of what his position he was in.
Okay.
3 or 4 weeks out of his not being around has a big impact, especially when he was working on grants and things like that. So,
we don't know that he's still not working, just at home.
Don't know.
See, we don't know. That's the thing. I mean,
well,
and that goes back to the question that they said about 10 minutes ago. Does the town pull the trigger on something like this, knowing that this is something that could bring everything to a halt?
Yeah, I don't know. Not being the individual, I can't assume that he's working at home and doing things. I don't know how he feels.
We don't know.
We don't know how he felt or how he feels.
We don't know if it's just separation of church and state. You can't be here right now because there's something that's going on, but we can do this at home.
Yeah. I mean, if the town thinks that nobody knows, they're full of crap. I mean, if they're down at town hall thinking that nobody knows that Mario's not there,
they know Mario's not there.
Well,
but they don't know
I'm
why.
saying if they're walking around thinking that the town doesn't realize that Mario is not in his office, that he's gone, it's around this town. Everybody in this friggin' town probably knows about it. So why not just come back and just say everything's worried? We're working on it. Don't worry about it.
Are there enough people in this town that care?
There probably are.
Okay.
There are people that care.
Yeah, what, 5% of the population?
That's my point. Yeah. See, this is the whole thing that we're talking about. We're talking about, us being a little bit, happy, sad, mad, or glad, what's going on down at town hall, because we don't know what's going on. But really, when you look at the big picture and stuff like that, of the amount of people that are living in the town of Griswold and the borough of Jewett City, how many people really care?
Yeah. Look at the voting records.
It's perfect.
True. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe 15 to 20%. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
In the borough, in the local elections in the borough, what do you get? 100? Maybe 200 turning out?
Dude, I went down to what they call the Freeman meeting or whatever one year down there. There were 3 people.
Yeah.
3 residents and I was one of them that voted on what the whole budget was, resident state troopers, everything, because nobody showed up.
Wow.
So I find it really, really funny, not ha funny, that people get really, really curious because somebody's missing downtown hall, yet they don't go vote on a situation like, do we approve a new senior center?
Well, go back
or infrastructure.
Go back a few years to the gun issue. Okay. The gun issue turned out more people for meetings than any other board or town meeting that I can recall.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that wasn't just one. That was 3 or 4 different get-togethers over a period of time. Okay?
That was a big time.
But that was still less than 200. What's the total population of the town and the borough? About 13,000.
Yeah, about that.
So you got about 200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a lot more people concerned about this than you think there are.
Okay.
I think there are.
Sure.
It's not the same as
define
voting.
concern, Paul.
I think overall, a lot of people in the town are concerned that we haven't moved forward. A lot of people don't know what's going on 164.
I'm going to disagree with you.
I don't think enough people care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think there's a lot of apathy in this town, but it's not just this town. It's every town.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Well,
look at the voting records everywhere.
You guys can disagree with me all you want, but nobody ever comes out and tells anybody what the hell is going on. We get more communication what's going on in other towns around us than we do that comes out of this freaking town. Nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many times I've asked, at least come out and tell people what's going on. I don't give a damn what you tell them. They don't. They keep their mouth shut. And I've always said this, you don't say nothing. As far as I'm concerned, you're hiding something.
A lot of times they're not going to answer a question if
They
it's
won't.
not asked.
They won't. No.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many things go on in your personal life that nobody knows about, but nobody's scared to ask
That's
either?
different. It's not the same.
Why?
Why personal life? Why would I?
Maybe it's Mario's personal business.
No, not. I don't care about his personal business. This is not his personal business. We're not worried about what he's doing at his house and how he feels. That's not what we're talking about.
No, but his personal business and how he conducted business within the town hall. So we don't know that.
Well,
but maybe that's what's going on.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Well, we've spent
A long time.
I know 3/4 of an
Now
hour
we're
almost
talking
on
about
this subject, and we have resolved nothing. So
Of course.
I mean,
Well, welcome to America.
so maybe it's time to move on to
Well, we
a
can't.
different
we
subject.
never will do. We never will.
This is simply a debate, and all I did in this right here is just kind of like throw it back at you, you know. And the same thing with you, just threw it back at you. Made a statement, you know, what if? So Donna just said Paul is absolutely correct.
In what respect? On what subject? On what particular term?
I can't
Paul is
speak-
absolutely
speak-
correct. That means you and I are absolutely wrong.
No, I don't think that's the issue. I think it comes down to the.
That's why I'm asking.
I'm
what
saying I think it's the
particular
communication issue. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
It's not just this. We never find it.
Communication is always a problem, Paul.
Big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We sit here and we sit here around the microphones, and somebody says something, and the English language is very difficult to communicate with unless you're very precise.
Yeah. How many times did I sit in that EDC meeting and say, "Look, we got all this good stuff going on. Why can't we tell people what's happening?" And I always told, "No, we can't do it yet. We can't do it yet. We can't do it yet. We can't do this. We got to wait for that." Crap. What do you mean we got to wait for that? So you're working on a grant. You tell people we're working on a grant. And what does the grant mean? It means we're going to save the town some money. So there. We didn't tell people that. You know, if people understood that, they would say, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." But no, we don't tell people that.
Well, I don't think there was any intention of deliberately hiding things like that.
Well,
Paul.
you're probably right. But why not tell people that?
I don't disagree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
Open communication. It solves
Yeah.
a lot of problems.
Yeah, because a lot of people say, "Well, didn't we have a referendum like 3 years ago for 164? What the hell happened to that
Longer
thing?"
ago than that, Paul.
Well, 5 years ago.
You were with me.
I know. I mean, people ask it.
So you're talking about basic communication, okay? So you got Fred and Ethel sitting at the table, right? And they're having dinner, and then Jimmy and Johnny are sitting there with them. They're two boys. They're both boys, you know, they're in their mid-teens and stuff like that. And they notice that Fred has been a little weird lately, been a little strange, not in a way that it makes anybody scared, but just like not acting the normal way. Does Fred just come out and say, "Ethel, I'm cheating on you. I just want to make sure you know all of this information"?
Not the same.
Why? I'm just talking about general information.
I don't see it. I don't see it the same either. Mike.
Neither.
Fred was cheating.
Yeah. Well, Fred's treatment. That's right. That's not the same.
Well, I'm speaking to your point of hiding. You said if
but
you're not,
you're bringing it down from a point of community where we all should be aware of what's going on in the community down into a tightly knit household. I think there's a huge difference there, Mike.
Yeah, I think so too.
okay.
You're wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
Well, I will say
just-
Daryl just says Paul is always right.
There you go. No, but I honestly, I mean, people are probably not aware that whole grant, the MDA grant, was going to save this town a lot of money. It took a lot of time. I'm not even sure if it's still done yet, but it's saving the town a lot of money that they don't have to go after because the federal government is going to give us thousands and thousands of dollars to put the infrastructure in.
I mean, as you said earlier, Paul, the infrastructure thing has been going on for quite a few years, and
You mean the FDA? You said MDA.
No, it's USDA.
USDA.
Yeah, we're
okay.
both wrong.
But that brings me back to another point that I was arguing for a full-time town planner, which ultimately was all they got to do is write one grant a year, and they've paid for their damn salary.
My little stupid little analogy. Daryl said, Ethel had it coming. She checked out of the marriage long ago.
Is that from experience?
Oh, that's a Daryl Nadu from the Healthy Computer, School Street, Jewett City.
Oh boy.
I mean,
She had it coming.
My belief. I mean, there's certain things, you know, if you're thinking about buying a piece of property of the town or something, okay, that has to be kept under wraps, because if somebody knows that the town is looking at a piece of property, that gets out of control, because now, the town wants it, so I get triple my price.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all the rest of this stuff, it should be open, and I've argued about this for quite some time, and I mean, I've been pretty close to 3 administrations.
Yeah, true.
You know, well, actually, really more too, like Kevin and Todd. Yeah, but that was 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Did you pay? Did you pay any attention really to
And before
Phil
that was-
Anthony?
Anthony was there.
Anthony was before my time.
Yeah, see, I was here when Anthony was
I
there.
was just getting involved, and I went down and I offered, and this was late in Phil's term, and and in fairness to him, I offered to help him out whenever I could. Okay.
How many terms was Phil in? Two.
Two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was in before him? Was Bricky?
No, Hatfield.
Oh, it was Hatfield.
Hatfield, right?
I don't know. That's
where's the bridge between Bricky and Phil? Is it Hatfield?
Not sure. Before, I mean,
I
I
mean,
wasn't
Bricky may
involved.
even be earlier than that. I don't know.
And let's be specific. It's Ann Hatfield.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Because Sue Hatfield is very, very, very much in the public eye
Yes,
on the state level.
Yeah.
Running for Attorney General last time.
Yeah. No, I don't. The only thing I remember is Hatfield. I don't remember who was in before her.
Court Kinney has
Oh boy, he's
raised his hand and said, "Present."
He's right on.
So last night, Court, we're gonna not throw you under the bus, but we're gonna throw you under the bus. Well, not you per se, but you had a question, or you made a statement about the P&Z meeting.
Yeah, they're canceled, right?
Okay, but there was a special meeting.
Special meeting last night.
Oh, it was you. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything.
I mentioned that there was a special meeting last night. I had another meeting, and that usually wasn't so long. It was real long last night. I didn't get there until P&Z was already standing out in the parking lot.
Gotcha.
So I saw no part of that special meeting.
Court, can you speak to the special meeting from P&Z last night? What it was about, and if you want, I could even, if you have a camera where you're at, I could even send you a link. You could just join in, but that's completely up to you. But I think we're all three of us are curious, like what happened at the special meeting.
Yeah.
Last night. So
yeah, because if you're not doing any P&Z stuff, what about people who want to do something, zoning change or something they want to do in their yard or something?
Uh-huh.
You can't do it, because it's got to go before zoning.
Yes.
So yeah, that's being held up. I mean, especially if you put the little addition on your house, or you need to get something, this time of year you want to be held up until winter. So I don't know.
Or you just have to wait till spring.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I hope he's got some
So
comments.
is court still there?
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He's either typing or he's going to refill his coffee. Could be either one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be kind of curious. I don't know. My opinion, I haven't really given my opinion on this whole thing, but I think that personally, I think there's a lot more going on than we know.
Oh, sure.
And I think there are some things that are rather sensitive.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, this thing would have been resolved like that.
Yep.
It hasn't been. So there's
I
got
don't
to be
think-
some sort of an investigation going on, which was tell me if I'm wrong, Jim, and I'm going to really address this to you. I don't think the first selectman is going to go ahead and just on a whim go do something with it. I think that the first selectman, anyone, no matter which one it is, whether it's Dana, whether it's Kevin, Todd Babbitt, Phil Anthony, Moses, they're gonna go ahead and ask and talk to the town attorney before they remove somebody from their office and put them on administrative leave. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I would certainly, if I was sitting in that seat, there's no way I would take an action like that without having talked to the attorney. Now, the question is, what information does the attorney get? He can only advise on that. Do we have complete information? Is there extenuating circumstances? There's all kinds of little things that can trip you up in taking an action like this.
Now, does the first selectman contact the legal counsel for the union?
I know you're asking questions about
right. The bottom line is we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know what the hell's going on.
No,
we're sitting here. A lot of people I know, they're pointing fingers at certain people. We don't know. Could be.
Yeah, we don't
know.
The only thing I can say is I hear a lot of anger out there on the streets.
Court says discussion and action on a potential candidate to fill in for zoning was tabled. Victoria is correct. We are awaiting proper legal advice. Sorry, no camera here. And Victoria says basically that he's on paid leave. You know what? I'm gonna do this just because. Good morning. Who's on SNSN?
Mackenzie. I'm a homeowners associate calling on a recorded line in regards to making improvements within your home. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Now, I'm with Consumer Counsel, and you can press 1 to be removed. And with the way the
How about we don't
economy
give a
is,
crap?
there are new programs that help homeowners such as yourself get financial assistance to make those improvements to your home that you may have been putting off. Now, have you been considering starting a remodel project for a while?
You're a robot. You're not a person. You're a robot.
Are you still there?
Absolutely.
Hey, dumbass, I'm right here.
I'm so sorry. What was that?
Dumbass. How's that? Did I say it a little bit better? You called me, so I can say whatever I want.
I'm with Consumer Counsel. My callback number is 866-201.
Consumer Counsel. You want to do a remodel job.
And they want to know why people don't have home phones anymore for the most part, because you get crap like that.
Remodel job. Yeah.
What?
She had a good, nice voice for a computer.
Daryl just said, should hire that lady on the phone for zoning. Don't answer anything. Just forge ahead. Oh, God. Oh, hey, it's Ryan Kenneth. Good morning, Ryan. How are you? I would say something, but not here.
Oh.
Sarah makes a comment. Think it can be easy for elected officials to hide because think it can be easy for elected officials to hide beside sensitive issues, and sensitive or not, resolution and transparency needs to be at the top of the agenda when resolving town issues. And I have zero clue what is going on.
Right. Yeah, let's tell our intelligence agencies in the United States that too. FBI, CIA, and the rest of them. FDA, CDC,
TCBY.
NIH, the whole group of them have been bought by the pharmaceutical industry. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
Yeah.
ASAP, TCBY.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to because everybody in town, well, a lot of people in town are upset with what's happening. I think the best thing that could come out of town hall is just come out and say, we've got an issue. We can't go into it. Things are fine. As more information comes out, we'll tell you. But at least come out and admit it so that people know that you're telling us. Mm-hmm. But they're hiding. They're not saying anything, which to me is wrong.
Okay.
You know, even when you have celebrities and legislatures and people who screw up, there's always a spokesperson comes out and kind of explains they don't tell you the whole issue, but they kind of do some peddling to explain what's going on. You know what I'm saying? There's always some kind of person doing that. And we don't have anybody tell, because people are making assumptions now, and they're not necessarily making assumptions out of one person. It could be either person they're making assumptions.
Yeah.
And it may not be that. So like I said,
I think numerous people are being harmed by this.
Yes.
By this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Such as?
Well, obviously Mario and possibly the first select lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I say, there's a lot of noise out on the street.
Is any of this noise making it to a first selectman meeting?
No. I don't know.
I doubt.
I haven't been to. As you know, I've been pretty damn busy. I haven't been to
I know.
the number of meetings that I used to.
That
go
wasn't
to.
an attack on you.
No, I didn't take it as one. I was just explaining.
That was okay. People are barking, but are they going to go find the dish? I mean, they have to go to the meeting to figure it out. You know, we can all
Goes
sit
back to our comment of apathy.
Exactly. We can all sit on Grizzled now and go, wonder what's going on.
I haven't heard. Did you read it? I haven't read anything on Grizzle now about this whole situation.
I don't think anybody really knows.
I don't think anybody has.
There's a little bit of there's like a murmur downtown, but and there's probably more people that are edgy and upset about this. And of course we know about, but then again, no one's going to voice their opinion.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I think it's the people who are impacted. You know, everybody's not impacted by the planner not being there. If you're a homeowner and you're waiting to get a decision made from zoning, you're impacted. So you know you feel it. But every Tom, Dick, and Harry doesn't have an issue. They have no clue because.
Well, that's an interesting comment, and I don't know what the answer is to my question. But many times, there's a time limit that you have that a board or commission has a time limit in which they can respond, and if they don't, you're free to do whatever you want. I wonder if that applies to P&Z. Is Cortland still there?
I don't know. I can't. It doesn't show me who's there.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Kathy says, Jim, she goes, I work for a pharmaceutical company and take offense to that comment, Jim. Oh, by the way, just kidding. Laughing emoji.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I got the just kidding, but.
And she says, goes on to say, I went to the last Board of Selectmen meeting, only a handful of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what
that's. I mean, there's lots of meetings I've gone to, and I've been the only person. Well, school board meetings. I haven't been to any in the last couple of years, or very few in the last couple of years. But I used to be basically at least 50% of the time, I was the only person that was there that wasn't affiliated with the school.
Mm-hmm. The only time I really saw anybody at Board of Education meetings was during COVID.
Oh yeah,
and masking issues.
Yep, and vaccine issues.
It wasn't so much. I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't there, but it was more masking.
Mm-hmm.
It was more masking at the Board of Education meetings. I don't really remember the vaccination issue coming up there. That I don't. But it was all.
Yeah.
There were some. Court says computer disconnected from lightning.
Oh yeah, there's lightning out.
He's back. But let's go back to apathy. How many people are showing up to meetings?
Yeah,
they're not.
Unless it's something that impacts them directly.
So,
like gun control.
Let's bring up the situation of this possibility of streaming. I know a lot of people that have said to me, whether this is, reactionary or not, would you attend more meetings if you were able to view it live stream? Of course you're. Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. If you're getting that kind of input, why would you not do it? So now, this is the question that, because I'm in that business, and I don't care if they hire me or they don't, they put something in place. But do you think that because that technology isn't being put in place, then maybe they know there's only going to be a certain amount of people that are going to show up.
I don't know, but I'll make a comment pertinent to that. You and I and Ed Burdick spent quite a bit of time 2, 3, 4 years ago working on grants that would have gotten us all of that equipment basically at no charge. Okay. And here again, part of the negativity on that was that who is going to operate the equipment?
Right.
I mean, so we've made attempts to be a lot more out there with information.
Transparent
is the word I was searching for. Yeah. Hey, my age, Mike, you start to lose some of those. If they're beyond 4-letter words, I mean, they get difficult. At the meeting I was at last night, we were talking about the programming. Okay. Atlantic, and this was an Atlantic broadband meeting,
Right.
but it applies to all of the things.
Breezeline.
Yeah, Breezeline now. And what do we get? We're paying, $100 to $200 for service, and you got 10,000 channels, of which 9,997 of them you don't give a damn about, but you still got to pay them. You got to pay for them all. And so one of the things that came up was basically grouping programming together for certain, like seniors. Okay, we probably want to watch something totally different than our grandchildren want to watch. So bundle packages together that address these issues. You can answer the question. I mean, I certainly believe from the technological point of view that you could get any channel you wanted delivered to any particular customer. You don't have to buy these packages of, like, obviously 10,000 is an exaggeration, but a few hundred channels that you don't even give a damn about.
Well, we just from in our house, we only watch like certain channels.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, I'm like, okay, what do we watch?
Yeah.
So I literally made just a list of, what we watch on the TV in the living room. And I came up with 3 channels.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So then it's like, do we, and 4, because we would watch Masked Singer on Fox. So, it's like, do we continue paying X amount of money for cable?
Yeah.
And continue on? Or do we look at each individual one? And this is going to maybe answer your point, because what will happen, they do group channels together, and they're usually grouped together by company that's owned, like NBC, has, a whole array of channels that they offer, and they'll come to the table to, whether it's Dish Network or DirecTV, Breezeline, and whatever, and say, look, this is what we have. Let's do an agreement or whatever. Same thing with CBS, Paramount. They all do the same thing. And that's why you see like Channel 3, saying, we're out of here. We can't come to an agreement, because they're really by themselves. They're not part of a group. So does that make, because that's how you get a lot of the channels that maybe you have no interest in.
Yeah. But we should be able to buy the channels we want a la carte.
You can.
Yeah. What's happening now, though, is a lot of channels now are creating these plus stations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like 61 just went to 61 plus, which is a streaming station, which means now you can watch 61, get all the stuff on 61, streaming without a cable thing.
Well, I think this supports the position that Mike has said for a long time, that basically cable and satellite are going to disappear eventually.
Yeah, and Discovery, you can watch Discovery. You can watch Discovery and get a whole bunch of stations by going to Discovery Plus, and you get all of their stuff. It may not be, the program that was on last night, but at least you can watch it.
That's one of the ones we like. For
Same
example,
way NBC has one too.
Yeah, Peacock,
which you can watch the NBC programs the night after.
You know how much Peacock is a month?
Like what, $3 or $4?
$5.
Yeah, it's not much.
$5. And you get a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So now we have Let me tell you what we pay for. Netflix, Peacock, and I think that's it, because as far as Discovery and Hulu, we get that with our phone plan. That comes with our phone plan.
With Verizon?
Yeah. And Disney, that comes with a phone plan too. You just get Disney forever for free.
So if you got a phone, you can just get those. You don't have to even pay for them.
Right. You got to be on a certain plan, so you're really paying for it. But
yeah,
you know. But if you're on a certain plan,
is this your personal phone plan, or is this your?
Yeah. No.
So what's your personal phone plan cost?
Yeah.
Well, that's hard to say because I have 6 phones on it plus a hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, if you want to know my phone bill is, it's about $450 a month.
Wow.
But then again, we have, we also have devices that are still, like, for example, there's like 3 or 4 people that have devices that they're still paying for, $30, $35 a month. So their phone bill alone is, like Cameron, who just got a phone. So he's paying for. He told me, he said, "You want to get a phone? You got to pay for it."
I think mine is about 65 with 3 gig of data for 2 phones.
There are different plans for different people. Like even me, I'm getting the retiree phone plans in the mail saying, "Here, do this," And I'm like, "Oh," but like Cameron was like, his phone bill every month was like $50. That's how much unlimited data, talk, text, whatever. But nobody talks, so they don't really care.
Yeah.
But he bought a phone, so his payment now is like, so altogether his phone bill is like $95. So that's where it goes. So we have like 3 or 4 people that all have phone plans still. Now, when I say phone plan, I don't mean contracts. You can get out of it in any time, but you'd have to pay for the device, the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They range like $30 a month for just a phone.
So your family sounds like your family's paying $500-600 a month for phone and data. When you add on these, Cameron's $90 a month, and
well, I also need certain services for what I do.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, my phone, I use it as a backup as well for a hotspot. So when we're streaming, sometimes I have streamed baseball games off of this, with all my stuff here and just Wi-Fiing it into my computer.
Yeah.
So like there are places we go that they don't have internet. We're going to be at Weaver tomorrow night in Hartford. I looked on multiple maps. There is Verizon coverage, heavy 5G Verizon coverage in where we're going to be. But I don't know if they have internet themselves. I've reached out to the athletic director 2-3 times, but never heard back. So thank God for Steve Cravino, because he actually made the connection that we could get out there. But as far as, well, that's a different subject. But
yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I can use this for many things, and I don't have to worry about being throttled. Meaning, if I use too much data, the speed goes down, and I can't have that.
Yeah. They just, if you use up all your data allocation, you just automatically stay there. You pay additional money for it.
No, it just stays.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, the plan you have, they don't throttle your data. Okay.
No, a lot of people have, like, for example, Verizon has a plan right now that they're saying, and they're competing, is what they're doing. Is they're offering, there's a $30 plan that says unlimited data. Well, it is unlimited data, but what they don't tell you is after, I think it's like 15 gigs on that plan, which is a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
Maybe for you and who use it sparsely, but when you're an 18-year-old kid that's streaming ESPN all day or watching SpongeBob SquarePants, which happens, that's can be taxing, and data could be used up. So what happens is that it goes from top speeds down to 600 megabits per second, which is nothing. So do they say you have unlimited data? Yes. Do you get unlimited 5G or 4G? No. It's different. So look at that in your phone plan, folks. Yeah. So, did we beat this to high hell and back?
I think so.
Okay. So Victoria just says we have a Fire Stick with Amazon Prime. Amazon is really getting into the TV business. You know, they started off selling books years ago, and now they have Amazon Prime original series. They're carrying NFL football. So just to give you an idea, remember when we first started, you and I doing this show, you know, we were talking about, and I had said satellite's going to go away someday. Even satellite radio. There's going to be a point where it's going to go.
Yeah, they can not only football games, they carry baseball games, basketball games.
Right, but 5 years ago, who thought? Did you think that we'd be sitting here saying there's enough of a market out there that people can go to Amazon to watch the Thursday night football game?
Yeah.
That was on ABC, NBC, or Fox for years.
Right.
ESPN. Now all of a sudden, it's available only on Amazon.
So if you got, so my grandson has Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So what he can get all of this TV from Amazon Prime
and 2-day shipping.
Yeah, I mean,
free
keep in
shipping.
mind, it's not NBC, CBS. There are
No.
certain things that you can get through Amazon Prime.
And some of their series, I mean, they're good. I mean, it's just like, how do you think Netflix started?
Yeah, I mean, they got documentaries, they got movies, they have TV shows that are, you know, the whole thing. Yeah.
Victoria, I don't think we finished your comment. We have Fire Stick with Prime because I went off on a tangent there. Just as they have Peacock, which we do, Hulu Plus, and Netflix, all cheaper than cable was together.
Yeah.
But then again, 5 years ago, who thought? And this is just 5 years ago. Who thought that you could? First of all, the Amazon was even going to have a contract with the NFL to carry games. Who thought that was going? So what's going to happen in 5 years? So I think about 5 years ago, I said 10 years. I think I said I'd said for a while, terrestrial radio is going to go away because of these guys and all of the devices, tablets, you know, everything, you know, watches. I mean, the wearables is just crazy what's available. Terrestrial radio is going to go away. Terrestrial cable. You know, I don't think it maybe cable's 5 years. I think I'd give them another 10 or 15, but they're going to be gone.
Yep.
And everything is going to be. Why do you think all the cable or I should say all of the wireless companies have been voraciously buying up bandwidth from the FCC, from other companies that have gone defunct? Verizon has more bandwidth than they know what to do with. So you know what they're doing? You know what the whole object of 5G is? Other than, of course, the conspiracy theorists think. The whole thing with 5G is because they're going after the home internet market. Yeah. So if you, like, for example, if I called, like if we had 5G here, which we don't, as for Verizon, I could call and say, yeah, I want to switch to your internet. It's like $30 a month for their internet. And it's faster than cable. It's faster than cable.
We don't have that here.
No. Yeah. T-Mobile has 5G here, but I don't know if they have what they call the ultra wide yet here.
Because I mean, we're spending about $95 a month, I think it is, for high-speed internet.
Which is not bad.
Right, but when you start,
but you're talking $30 a month. That's a 2/3 reduction in cost.
Right. So then you have like companies like BreezeLine, not very proactive. I think they wait till things happen and then they go ahead and change. Because look at Comcast, they're in this area now. Now all of a sudden BreezeLine's going, whoa, hold up here.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with the Buffalo Frontier.
No, I think Frontier is kind of like,
but when you
can't compete.
But they're looking at bundling services. I mean, continuing to bundle services, whether it's your telephone plan, whether it's your TV viewing plan, or your home internet. It's all going to be on one bill.
Yeah, and that's a fundamental problem because that's destroying the competitive advantages that this country has had for customers. Okay, I mean, you go back to AT&T when you were probably in diapers, okay, and they broke the AT&T all up.
Diapers was
okay?
in high school when that happened.
Well, I don't know. Okay, I don't remember exactly when it was. That was
all
about
the baby
40
bells. They broke up.
broke them up. Now they're all back together again.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And that's
federal-
partly because of a Republican Congress and a
federal
and a
government.
Democratic president.
Well, whether it's
Clinton.
Republican or Democrat, whoopie-doo. But I mean, the thing is that I don't agree with the competitive difference because you have all of these wireless companies that are not coming together. They're not part of the baby bells. You know, like T-Mobile, they're a European company.
Mhm.
Sprint, they're their own thing. Verizon, actually T-Mobile and there's another one. So T-Mobile and Sprint are together actually because T-Mobile bought Sprint. So anyway, but they're all different. You know, there's like 5 or 6 players in the game there.
Yeah.
Which like the baby bells, when they all come back together again, they kind of had to. They had to. And the reason why? Because home phones are down 70%. Nobody's making any money. Maybe together, you know, they can, but not separately.
Yeah. Well,
Southwest Bell, forget it. Northwest Bell, forget it.
Unfortunately, I'm just going to say this real quick. I just read an article that it's happening in the medical industry as well right now. Yale
Hartford
Healthcare.
Yeah.
All of the small medical practices now are being bought up by 2 companies, Yale New Haven and the one in Norwich. What is it? Hartford
Healthcare.
Hartford Healthcare.
Okay, you're talking on the local area, but it's much worse nationwide.
more
Well, I
regional,
don't want to. I just wanted to say, but I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, and that should not be allowed.
That's what's happening. So,
I mean, a private doctor's office like there's very few around anymore. Okay, they're independent little businessmen. My personal opinion is medical should not be a for-profit industry.
Mhm.
Okay,
so that's a subject for another day. Yeah, but it just goes to show
well, if you guys
that's-
skip breakfast, we can just keep going.
No, but I mean it's a whole different topic.
Yeah, it certainly is, but it's a critical topic. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the doctors no longer have choice of what they're going to prescribe for a patient, which became totally obvious during this whole COVID stuff. Okay. Remdesivir was the major thing that they were being driven to do. And I had numerous heated discussions with doctors about that whole subject. Yeah. Okay. You come into the hospital, and I'm not a medical person. Okay. You come into a hospital and say, okay, go home and take some aspirin or something. And when you get really bad, come back in, we'll give you a remdesivir. Then you'll go on a ventilator and you'll die. That's a hell of a prognosis to come out of. But I'm sure there's people out there that'll comment back on that, saying, "Hey, you're wacky." Well,
I watch the comments, for days, on these because people do watch these broadcasts after the fact.
Yep.
And they comment and stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to end the show for today. If you missed any of the program, this will of course be posted here and on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and a whole bunch of others. If you want to go ahead and review, please go ahead and do that. And if you have a question for Jim, like we said, or Paul or something like that, don't ask me a question. I'm an idiot. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm just going ahead facilitating stuff. These guys are the brains. It ain't me. So,
boy, you passed a lot of credit out to Paul and I.
I know.
Gee.
Paul, how many times have we stood outside and I look at you and I say, why are you always right?
Well, he isn't.
I'm not trying to pump your ego up. I'm being honest.
He isn't always right. He was wrong today.
Not according to Daryl Nadu from the Healthy Computer, Main School Street, Jewett City. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we'll be back tomorrow. You're pulling double duty.
Good joining you guys today.
That was nice. Yeah. Thank you, Jim Barney. We appreciate that. And we also want to go ahead and I do personally. I'm sure they'll share the sentiments. One of our co-hosts, Rich Waslick, is getting surgery, and he's going to be out for some time. But he'll be back at some point. But we just want to wish him well and healthy recovery and Healthy Computer. Oh, that's a really bad plug. Sorry, Rich. But we will see you guys another time. And Rich, we will see you real soon too, right here on SNSN. Bye.
You see the signs everywhere. No alcohol if under 21. No tobacco under 21. No vaping supplies under 21. It's 21 for a reason.
Youth that use alcohol